Oh, sorry folks. I was doing a little Jedi meditation for this one. This is a big one. Welcome to my review of the new Jedi Order. Let's take it on, star by star, by Troy Denning. This is the apex of the new Jedi Order storyline. This is where probably the lowest point for the New Republic, the lowest point in the storyline. There's a lot to talk about here, a lot of controversial stuff here, and there are a lot of deaths. In fact, Troy Denning kind of jokes that ever since Star by Star came out, he's known as the guy who just kills characters off left and right. He just said it just happened to fall on him. And to be honest, Troy Denning took that on his own. He didn't want to, they learned their lesson after Bob Salvatore killed off Chewbacca, that, man, for an author to take all that heat from the writers, from the fans, let's make sure it's someone who can take all that heat. And Troy Denning said, here, I'll do it. And that's why Troy Denning a lot of times kills off some of the big characters now, because he can take the heat, and they don't want other people taking heat like that. One thing I didn't mention about Bob Salvatore is that was so bad when he killed off Chewbacca. It wasn't his call. That was Del Rey's call. He just had to follow through. He was following orders. But what had happened at the time, his brother had also passed away. So imagine this. Your brother passes away, and you get nothing but hate mail from fans wishing you would die. You know, it's just not a good time, and it wasn't the best experience for R.A. Salvatore, which is why they let him write Episode 2, the novelization. They kind of gave him that as a consolation prize. They look, sorry about that. Here, you get to write one of the big books here for the prequel stories. But it is a shame, because when I've met him before, he said, hey, what my idea to kill off Chewie? I said, hey, man, I like the idea, so you're fine by me. I did not give him hate mail. I was actually on the forums like defending it. I said, hey, that's how it is. That's how it goes. I'm fine with this. But if that didn't stop people from reading, Star by Star definitely did. So let's go into this. First off, there is a new creation by the Vong. They're called Voxen. They are Jedi hunters. They sniff out. They were bred and manufactured for one reason: to hunt and kill Jedi, and they are doing that. It starts off with two sisters who are Twi'lek sisters. One dies to the Voxen. The other one, Al-Marar, who's going to be a big character throughout the storyline and into the next. I think she gets damaged. Either it's her arm or her one of her leg too. It may be both of them. I can't remember, but she gets damaged too. So she barely escapes, and her sister does not. And they're getting reports of a lot of people passing away. And this is what's kind of sad. We get to hear names from previous Bantam stories who get killed off in one line. Lyric from the Junior J Knights got killed off in one line by Troy Denning. It's sad because later on, another author wanted to use Lyric in his storyline, and then later found out that Troy Denning killed her off in one sentence. He said, I wanted to use her, and I found out that one sentence killed her off. One sentence, one reference. He also, I believe, killed off Lusa, who was a youngling in the Crystal Star. It's one of the few connections to the Crystal Star that we got to hear about. But Lusa also dies. I think that's just one sentence too. And kind of Jaina has a moment of contemplation going, oh man, and Anakin too, like those were friends. And I get what Troy Denning was trying to do. Is like, hey, this is personal for everyone. They attacked your friend, they killed your friend, they killed your friend, and he thought these were characters that people weren't going to bring back, which it's kind of sad they didn't get the opportunity. One almost had the opportunity to come back, but because of his one throwaway line killing them off, I didn't mind that personally. I was like, whoa, more death, you know. I was eating it up, baby. So the Voxen are really dangerous. Now, meanwhile, the Senate is in a deadlock. They don't know what to do. I mean, they know the Vong are breathing down their neck. Do they turn over the Jedi? It looked like they were going to do it. In fact, Borsfila is kind of, you know, his plans to arrest Luke got foiled. He's kind of sitting back thinking, well, there is still some support for the Jedi, and maybe they can save us. I don't know what to do yet. He's kind of holding off. Well, his decision is made very quickly when the Vong send their representative to negotiate the peace treaty or whatever between them. And it was done on purpose. Savong La sends Nomanar, because he knows that no one will enrage them more than Nomanar, the big traitor who started this all and kind of infiltrated the Senate and caused all these issues. Well, Fila finally grows a spine after what, 25 years of, you know, being a weasel. He finally stands up and goes, no, that's wrong. You're awful. I'm back in the Jedi full out. And so then they turn the tide and they decide to finally back the Jedi in all this turmoil. And that's what it was designed for, because the Vong have no interest in surrendering or stopping or doing a peace treaty. They want to go on. So Vong La knew exactly what he was doing by sending in Nar, is just, you know, stirring things up. Now for the Vong, things are going okay, but not everything's rosy and happy right now, because they are having some issues. You see, twins in the Vong society are deified beings. If you have twins, it's very nice. The gods are sending you a message. Well, because the two biggest Jedi, you know, Jason, who really hurt Savong La, and Savong La refuses to get another implant or fix his ankle. He walks with a limp until he fights Jason and takes him down. That's his whole plan, you know, because he needs to redeem himself. Even though he's had several victories, he refuses to get new implants because he needs to redeem himself from Jason. But he's worried because twins are deified in the Vong culture, and the Shame Ones have already started worshiping the Jedi in a way. So he knows there's an issue here, and man, we really need to capture those twins. You know, we you know, maybe turn them to the Vong or something. So that's kind of where his status is, because he can't really kill a twin. That would be bad. That'd be bad luck, I guess, from the Vong religion. So he's kind of at a crux on what he needs to do about it, but he knows something needs to be done. Back to Anakin, the twins, Luke, and the gang. They decide it's time to go on a mission to kill off the Voxen. And how you do that is to kill the Queen. Yes, this is Aliens. This is the same story from the movie Aliens, just done from Star Wars. And it's phenomenal. It's great. Anakin, the twins, Tahiri, I think about 13 other Jedi go with them, usually young Jedi. I know Raynar Thol from the Young Jedi Knights joins the mission, along with a few other Jedi from the Young Jedi Knights series. And so, you know, they have a lot of young Jedi going. Lando is also going to be providing coverage for them. He has designed some YVH droids, which are Yuzum Vong Hunter droids. They're big metallical hulking warrior things, you know, made out of machines, which the Vong hate. They just spout out insults in the Vong language. It's really great. And they have heavy firepower. So now Lando goes with them. He's part of the drop-off with them, but he didn't go on the mission with them. He's part of the drop-off team. Luke, in the meantime, is left out of the mission. You're thinking, why wouldn't you let Luke go in there? Well, they explain it very well. This is supposed to be a secret mission. Luke is a very public figure right now, and if he just kind of disappears off the map, the Vong may put two and two together to know where he's going, because the Voxen are a big threat. Maybe Luke went to go stop the Voxen Queen. Maybe they found out where the Queen is and they're going to stop him. We need to beef up security there. So it does make sense not to put Luke in this story. Of course, they didn't want Luke in this story, which is the real reason. So anyway, the Jedi go out on this mission. They got this mind meld going. Jason is kind of controlling it, where he can kind of talk to people through the Force and kind of have an organized structure of where to go, what to do, how to do the search out, you know, working as a team. They do run into and rescue two captured dark Jedi by the Vong. Remember, the Vong are going everywhere, and if they can capture a Jedi, they will. And so they captured two Jedi called Lomplo and Welk, and they're said to be part of the Shadow Academy because the twins recognize them. They were part of the Shadow Academy way back in the day. Now, I thought this was another connection to the Shadow Academy. And I remember pouring through the Young Jedi Knight books trying to find these two names. They're not there. Troy Denning just made up two characters and said, yeah, well, and it's true, you could have several characters from the Shadow Academy disperse, because a lot of those Dark Jedi just left after the Shadow Academy went away. So it's conceivable that you would have more people from the Shadow Academy around, even though these aren't connections like I'd hoped for. These are just made-up characters that only share that connection of being part of the Shadow Academy. They weren't mentioned in other books. But anyway, they are a deep influence into Al-Marar, whose sister died from the Voxen, and is really having a lot of anger issues over this. And they're trying to convince her to come over to the dark side. Now, they agree to help the Jedi because they hate the Vong too. You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend and whatnot. But to make it clear, you and I, we're not friends, Jedi. So they bring them along, you know, because they got nothing else to do, but they don't trust them either. It adds another level to all this. Now, I need to back up because there's another character that Troy Denning introduced here, and she is awesome. Saba Sabatine. wow, I love Saba Saba. And she has 3 children too, and they're fighting the Vong, and they're going on missions together. And Saba Sabatine, we'll see her later on. Excellent character. Excellent character. Absolutely love her character. She's a Barabel, and she sisses a lot. She makes jokes and goes when she laughs. She is a great character. I love everything about her. Everything about her. She's awesome in this one. She and her younglings actually capture, or her hatchlings, capture a Yamask, one of these big hulking battle planners for the Vong. And it's a great victory for the Jedi, because now they can study this Yamask to see how it works. The more they know about the Vong, the better prepared they are to fight them. So I don't want to forget about her. She is a fantastic character. Honestly, one of my favorite characters in the expanded universe, probably, or definitely in the New Jedi Order. I should mention that the New Jedi Order brought us a lot of new characters, but out of all those new characters, Saba Sabatine may be my favorite. That's how much I love her. So let's get back to the mission, because you know what we're going to talk about here. Someone dies. Folks, I gotta spoil it because it does impact the rest of the storyline going forward, and it is Anakin Solo. Anakin Solo goes out in a blaze of glory, buying time for the Jedi who are being overwhelmed by their enemies, and he starts glowing in the Force at the end and eventually dies. Now, when this happens, it impacts the entire team. Tahiri, in tears. This is the man she loves, the man she just connected with. They're going to be a couple now. They're supposed to be forever, from Greg Keyes' past novels that we just read. And now Anakin's gone, torn to shreds, dying, and she's so upset. I know that girls have told me when they've read this, they had the same reaction Tahiri did, because they loved Anakin. One girl, this is my favorite reaction, she said she took the book and flung it against the room and never picked it up and never read another sentence of the expanded universe ever again. This really impacted people. I know some people who just hate that Anakin died. They hate it. Oh, they didn't like it at all. And I'll get to why he died in a minute, but wow, what an impactful death. Now, Jaina, in the meantime, she goes full dark side in a way. She starts shooting lightning bolts from her hands. She just gets really angry. That's how she's dealing with it. You're like, oh my gosh, is she going dark now? You're like, oh, there's so much going on. Jason is the only one. He's wrought by the death, because he has a lot of remorse, because he and Anakin were kind of on opposite sides of the discussion of the Force and the destiny of the Jedi. But he still loved his brother. So it kind of hits him too, but he gathers back his thoughts and goes, not now, not now. We got to focus. We got to finish this mission. And being in charge of the mind mill, he gets all the other Jedi to focus and complete the mission. And they do. They actually kill the Voxen Queen, but it's because of Jason. I absolutely love that reaction from him. It's different. Jaina can't get off it. She goes off on the, she goes off the range, baby. She's just slaughtering Vong left and right, dark side energy and everything. But it's a great reaction there. Luke's reaction, Luke can feel it from far away, and he's just racked with remorse. He should have gone. What was I thinking? And of course, Luke is always second-guessing himself and thinking he doesn't make the right decision. This one really hurts Luke, and it basically changes his whole perspective on the war. I don't know if anyone caught that, but Luke's perspective after Star by Star switches. He realizes all his mistakes. It's just a casket, it's a watershed moment for Luke to say, all this, all my delays, my hesitation, my uncertainty led to Anakin's death. No more. No more. It's a great moment. For people to say, oh, they just wasted Anakin's death. They did not. They did not. It's an excellent death. I'll also tell you why the best reaction has to be Leia and Han, right? When Anakin dies, Leia is, and she doubles over. She's in pain. Han doesn't know what's wrong. He's like, what's wrong? And Leia just looks at him. And remember, they've reconnected now, because Han's finally getting over the death of Chewie. But now we have a new death to worry about, and she just looks at him. And I remember, she just barely gets out the word in a whisper, Anakin. And Han at first doesn't understand, and then immediately comes to the realization that his son is dead. And he just, as Leia is racked in pain, Han is stunned. He can't feel anything. He can't hear anything. The communicator on their desk is buzzing. He looks over at it, picks it, unholsters his blaster, and shoots it. And then decides that felt good. and shoots up the whole apartment. I mean, it's some dark stuff, man. It's some dark stuff. And especially for Han, who's finally getting out of his funk. We finally learned he's finally getting over Chewbacca. He's coming to terms with Chewbacca's death. He hasn't spoken to Anakin yet, but he plans to kind of smooth everything over with his son. He never got a chance to do that. His son's been taken away by the Vong. Anakin's death is one of the most emotional deaths in the expanded universe, by far. And for people to say, "I wish he didn't die," well, then you wouldn't have had they made his death count. They didn't kill him off for shock value. They didn't kill him off to, just because they wanted to on a flim. They did it, and they did it with a purpose, and it totally changed the trajectory of the storyline. I absolutely love his death. I agree with his death. I would never change it in a million years. Yes, I'm sad that Anakin died. Yes, I loved him as a character. But his death impacted all the characters in the right way to take that storyline in several different ways. And it impacts so many characters, it's well worth it. It's a good death, folks. It's a good death. He died a good death, even though people are absolutely upset with that. Now, originally, Jason was the one to die. I think everyone knows this now. Jason was the one destined to die. George Lucas himself stepped in and said, "No, I want you to kill Anakin Solo." Why? Because he was concerned that people were going to confuse Anakin Solo in the books with Anakin Skywalker in the prequels that were coming out at the time. Now, let me ask this question, EU haters. If George Lucas didn't care about the expanded universe, why would he care about Anakin Solo and Anakin Skywalker? Right? He could just say, "Well, that stuff doesn't matter. It's not canon." He wanted to not confuse readers and movie things because they're all connected. He said, we need to kill off Anakin Solo. And remember, I showed you that Junior J. Knight's novel where it starts off with saying Anakin Skywalker. I don't know, but maybe Lucas saw that and went, that a lot of people may think that. Or maybe people were coming up to him going, "I thought Anakin Solo was the one fighting the Vong right now." Or Anakin Skywalker was the one fighting the Vong. He went, "No, that's a different Anakin." People were reading these. People were paying attention, and Lucas didn't want the confusion. Now, of course, Del Rey did not want to do that. They had seen Anakin as a replacement for Luke, for the New Jedi Order. They had big plans for him, but they had to make the change. That was by George Lucas. That was a command by George Lucas, who I hear doesn't care about the EU, but he cares enough to make that change for them. So they made the change, they made the switch, and to be honest, it's better for everyone. By the way, Jason gets captured by the Vong, so everything is going bad. A lot of people think he's dead too. They don't know anymore because they can't feel him in the Force, but Leia didn't feel him die, so she didn't think he's dead. But anyway, Jason gets captured. Everything is awful. The Vong invade Coruscant and they take it over. Borsk Fila sees the invasion fleet coming in, and Borsk Fila, it's another great death I got to talk about. So and I have to spoil these deaths, folks, because things happen later on. They have to get a replacement for Borsk Fila. The whole New Republic is coming to an end right now. This is the last stages of the New Republic that we know. And so the Vong invade. They go up to Borsk Fila. There's I think 25,000 Vong in the big Senate building, and Borsk Fila says, "Where's your leader? Bring Savong Law to me." He went, "He will not come to you, worm," or whatever. "I am so-and-so. I am the lieutenant commander." He's like, "I am the highest ranking you will get." And Borsk Fila goes, "I guess that's good enough." And he has a thermal detonator. He lets it go. And he kills 25,000 Vong. The whole building blows up. I mean, just disintegrates. Can you imagine this in a movie? This is great. This is great. So I remember reading that and going, whoa. Borsk Fila, the man who's been a coward, a two-face this entire time, goes off on a high note as a hero. He knows it's his fault. He's cursing his indecisiveness. He knows it's his fault. He knows the New Republic ends with him. He's wanted to lead the New Republic to new heights, but yet he has destroyed the New Republic based on his poor decisions, selfishness, and everything. I mean, he basically comes full circle here to a hero. And I absolutely love what Denning did with that. Absolutely love. There's so much to love about Star by Star. It's my favorite story in the New Jedi Order, bar none. Probably my favorite story in the EU, period. Okay? Star by Star impacts a lot of things, even though a lot of people didn't like it because of Anakin's death. And Del Rey says they got more complaints about Chewbacca's death than Anakin's, even though they get a lot of complaints on Anakin's death. But I say amen, amen to all the deaths in there. He does butcher a lot of people. By the end of Star by Star, I believe the the numbers are that 25% of the Jedi are dead. They're gone. I mean, and this war takes billions of lives too. So I mean, this is the biggest, darkest battle that the galaxy will ever face, and this is their darkest moment. And folks, it's from cover to cover. It's one of the biggest books in the expanded universe too. But it engages you the whole time, and you cannot stop reading. It's like after one chapter, you've got to read again. It's unbelievably great. And for those who are just pining away, wishing they came to another conclusion about bringing Anakin back from the dead, no, that would cheapen the New Jedi Order and everything that went forward. It would cheapen Anakin. Please don't cheapen Anakin's death by bringing him back in some weird weird force way or something. Please don't cheapen that death. That death was so pointed in the New Jedi Order that bringing him back afterwards, it would just not make it as serious as it was. But just the impact of his death and everything that went on, it's so dark, it's so awesome. Like I said, it's also aliens as well. I could talk about this for another 20 minutes, but I'm not going to. I got to move on to the next story. See you next time.